All right.
We have launched.
Welcome, everybody. Officially, Planet Green Juice is commencing. This is episode number 434.
Yep.
We are calling it Vacated, Vindicated, and Medicated. Hopefully,
Some more than others.
the reason for the name will reveal itself. And as we begin, my name is Michael Komorn of Komorn Law PLC. We've got lots of people here in the studio. Very excited. It's everybody. And we're going to introduce those people right now. We have some of our regular community entertainment, but we've stepped it up a little bit, have some extra community entertainment. Start with our regulars, starting with Tommy Two-Tone over in the corner with running the board.
Hey guys, great to be here. Looking forward to the show.
Next we have a different Jim Powers.
Different Jim Powers.
Different Jim.
Different from
Powers.
who?
What is that supposed to mean?
What did I say?
You said a
Different Jim Powers?
My friend, I said.
Every day you're a new man.
I know. Well, good evening, everybody. It's good to be here. I feel like 2 weeks in a row is an accomplishment these days for us, so congratulations on that. I'm glad to see so many faces here tonight. And with everybody in the house, I just like to say fuck Bill Schuette.
Very good. Very good. What's still going on? I see here on the notes that we're supposed to start the show as soon as possible and hurry up and get into it. But we'll drag through here because as I like to say, we're not, All right, next we have, fresh off of the Patti Smith live tour. We could do a whole show about that, am I right? All right?
I
Sure
could go on and on. It
I
was
know.
2 nights. I partied with the band all night last night. Yes, I could go on and on, but I won't.
Debra Young at the after
Because
show
I already
also.
did to Michael. He already knows.
I know.
But, yeah.
I was saying we could do a whole show on that.
But,
another episode.
forget about that.
Right.
What about the exciting news? This is why we're here tonight.
We're teasing that. We're still not
Yeah.
teasing it. We're still
This
teasing
is
it.
why we're all here tonight.
Yeah.
That's right. Moving, we've got Jeanette here, fresh from the East Coast, and here to make herself available for anyone that is looking to for matrimony. Is that right? Licensed and practicing. Please welcome Jeanette Warner.
Thanks. So happy to be here.
Good, good. Paul is here. I see that. But he's leaving. Going to Telluride, it looks like.
Been there.
That's right, right. Schuyler, the Federalist, is here. I don't know how he got in.
Hi, Shyler.
I'm going to pass over one of our guests here. We've got John Schlicker from the Cannapalooza World Tour in the studio. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks for having me, and thank you for your sponsorship.
My pleasure. Nikki, of course, is here, and Nikki, of course, was the really did everything for Cannapalooza. Let's just be honest. That's right. Welcome, Nikki.
She's the Jamie Lowell of Cannapalooza.
I get that. Responsible for everything is what you're saying, right?
Uh-huh.
Max is around here. Max and Fam are here. Max.
Tracy's here, too. Where'd she go?
She's outside.
Okay, maybe. My dear friend and brother in arms, Dewey, has made an appearance here. I can't tell you that it's been a long time.
What a pleasure.
Dewey's on the
That's
disabled
all I
list.
can say.
It is. It's all my pleasure. And I don't know how this happened, but somehow David Radoy showed up tonight. This is kind of wild, right?
Yeah.
A bunch of lawyers here now.
Yeah.
David Radoy.
It's like it was in the old days.
There's only
kind of
2
is.
lawyers.
Like the old days,
Schuyler's
baby.
denying he's a lawyer.
A
so.
certain win brought it all back for me.
More food? Esteban.
Esteban!
Did he bring plates?
Esteban is here now. We really do. We really do. Thanks for being here, everybody.
All right, we're complete
Oh,
now.
and of course, no, we did not introduce 2 very important people. First, and we're going to go to him first just to kind of tease the main, the main reason why we were all together. But Ken is here, Ken Cow from Accountant, and we're going to talk about tax law and cannabis. What about that? What do you think about that? Is that a good topic to start with? Schuyler, I'm glad you're here and learn some things. We can
Schuyler-
Schuyler, shut the door.
We were having a little sidebar with Schuyler earlier, and he...
Is it favor that?
Well, he wants to have a little guest segment tonight, so
Yeah, okay.
I think we
That's
should
good.
It's called
allow him.
Macomb
No.
County Talks with Schuyler. And it's going to be a regular segment on the
It's
show.
about divorce law?
Yeah, it's
That's
interesting. It's incredibly boring.
And of course, Amanda has returned to the show and has done a tremendous job, not just as an advocate and pointing out some of the corruption of what's going on, but today we stand celebrating Vindicated, Vacated, as it has been stated by an opinion by the Court of Appeals that the nonsense that took place, we've been
It was some bullshit.
fixed. We're going to talk about that a little bit, I think.
Thank you,
That's okay.
Michael, for having me.
This is going to be a 4-episode show, so we can get it all
At a
in.
minimum.
And we'll start with that in a little while. We do have some topics like we like to do. Those topics were, and this is why I know Shiler, for some reason, this one made it to the top of the list. This is one that seemingly was under and in your craw. Is that a thing? Did I say that right?
Scooch yourself
In your
up
craw.
here.
Here you go.
I don't know
Shiler.
what you're talking about.
Federal
Federal.
court. Federal court.
Topic number one.
You're hanging in front of the microphone.
Well, look at there's a whole package
I got
prepared
this.
on this.
We're teasing this. We're not even talking about it. I'm just doing this to tease Shiler. Federal court. Cops,
me.
cops
Admitted.
accused of stealing over $225,000
Was I
have
there?
legal immunity.
Yeah, I know about that. I think I sent you the article.
45 times. 45 times. I wanted you to be available for when we talk about this. You could express why you sent it to me 45 times. The other topic, too, is going to be Florida Congress wants to downgrade controlled substance scheduling for marijuana. Interesting, from a 1 to a 3. This gives me a segue to talk about the John Sinclair lawsuit, which is reactivated, and we're going to have oral arguments. We got notice from the Court of Appeals, and I will say, just so everybody knows, the opposition party in that case is the Attorney General's office. They're opposing it, just so everybody knows. I just want to make that point. In any event, and of course, speaking of the Attorney General, not speaking poorly of her, but just in the news, we understand that she has formed a marijuana legal group, the illegal work group, I guess, as opposed to an illegal work group, marijuana legal work group. And there was a couple articles printed of what their conclusions are and where they're going with this. And
Who was on this legal work group, Michael? Were you on it?
I don't want to. That's not the question. The question is, what are the conclusions?
I'm just asking.
No, some people from some. We'll see. We'll talk. We'll name them because it's in the article that I want to talk about. All right. I don't know if we're gonna do all this. Should we just go? What are we gonna do? Someone help me here. Because Ken's got to get to. Got to get.
Celebrate.
What?
Get some tax talk in a minute.
Right, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back, and we'll go straight to Ken, and he'll tell us all about taxes.
All right, very good.
Has there ever been a Court of Appeals opinion vacating a marijuana charge based on the sufficiency of the evidence?
What are you doing? We're going to break.
Calm down. Hold on. I'm gonna find some jams
Jim
here.
is directing the agenda now.
I like Jim's call. I think
Going
that
to a
was
break.
Okay.
I'm muting.
Komorn Law. Michael Komorn is one of the top attorneys in Michigan that has experience and dedication in criminal defense law. Komorn Law can take your case from arrest all the way from trial, appeals, and even to the Supreme Court. The team at Komorn Law has the compassion and the experience you can look to for help in your time of need. Komorn Law has over 25 years experience in criminal defense. We have accomplished numerous legislative changes through community involvement and lobbying. Our award-winning law firm has a reputation like no other for keeping overreaching government accountable and in check. We have built Komorn Law for people who need lawyers to stand up to the system, fight back and win. Once we become your lawyer, you become a part of our family. Don't settle for less, just ask our clients. Komorn Law, the best damn criminal defense lawyers, period.
It ain't fair, John Sinclair, in the stir for breathing air. It ain't fair, John Sinclair, in the stir for breathing air. Set him free, let him be, breathing air like you and me. What's the judge to do What else can Judge Columba do? We got to set him free. This whole place went nuts. If he was a soldier man, shooting gooks in Vietnam. If he was CIA, selling dope and making hay, he'd be free, breathing air like you and me. What's a judge do? What else could Judge Columba do? Well, we got to set him free. And sure enough, that was Saturday, and then next Monday, John Sinclair walked out of jail. And the Supreme Court issued an opinion in People versus John Sinclair that said, it's cruel, it's unusual, it's arbitrary, it's irrational, it's capricious, and it cannot be the law in the state of Michigan that we treat marijuana the same way we treat opioids. And they set him free. Hi, I'm Jeff Frazier. I'm one of the attorneys at Komorn Law in Michigan. And on behalf of poet John Sinclair, and some doctors, some pharmacists, some organizations, we're suing the Michigan Board of Pharmacy to finally, once and for all, to remove marijuana from the Michigan list of controlled substances. John Sinclair was and is a poet provocateur, and adamant opponent and protester against America's involvement in the Vietnam War and all the bombings. He was organized together with Abby Hoffman and Jerry Rubin and the Black Panthers guys. And, he organized against the war. And in his words, we were protesting the war and we were advocating for the legalization of marijuana, all the while smoking vast quantities of it. We ought to do something about finally getting this plant off of the controlled substances list. We have law where the state of Michigan is licensing the medical use of marijuana. At the same time, it says under the Board of Pharmacy says under the Controlled Substances Act that it is still a controlled substance. And not only is it still a controlled substance, it's still a Schedule I controlled substance. And being Schedule I controlled substance means that it is contraband per se, and that its mere presence is evidence of a crime, and it justifies the raids. Michigan State Police spend 40% of their resources going after marijuana that is allowed for medical use, is licensed by the state, is now been voted into law by the people of this state to be legal for adult use. And yet it's still 40% of the police budget, still 40% of the prosecutor's daily load, it's still 40% of the Michigan State Police Crime Lab daily load. And it's still Schedule I, which justifies the stops, the searches, the seizures, and more importantly, the raids. And that means men with AR-15s and ski masks going in where men, women, and children and dogs and grandparents, are quietly sitting there watching TV. And because the neighbor complained of the smell of marijuana coming from a basement window, these patients or caregivers and now any citizen in the state is allowed to grow. The continued placement of marijuana on the Michigan State list of controlled substances is just simply absurd. Hopefully we'll get our hearing. If not, then we'll fight it out in the Court of Appeals and ultimately back to the Supreme Court that originally spoke in the case of John Sinclair back in 1971. It's time for, this absurdity that has forever lived at the heart of the drug war to be done with. And the way to do that is to take marijuana off the controlled substances list altogether. It's no longer to be policed, it's to be regulated.